The building blocks of IP SLA are first, you got to have something that's pumping out the SLA information. That's a source. So you got to configure a number of different elements on the source. Then you point it to something. Now you have a choice in what something you point it to. You can point it to a target, which is an unintelligent device. It has to be running IP, the TCP/IP stack, but it isn't a responder. A responder, well, that is a beast of a different kind. You get greater measurement. You're going to have an explicit configuration making something a responder. And that gives you the full wealth of opportunities there. What I want you to see in this paradigm of communicating from a source to a responder is, first, there's some communication back and forth. A control over UDP port 2020, where the responder says, yeah, I'm ready to be a responder. And then you can start doing tests. Now, what the benefit is this. You can get hyper accurate details about delay. Imagine sending something from one multi-layer switch to another. You're doing a test. You're launching that test out. It's going to go through, and what happens is this. And they've got arrows here. I don't want to emphasize those arrows. You're sending it over, and it's going to hit the CPU. And it's going to go all the way through the nooks and crannies of the chassis, software-wise, be processed by the CPU. They're going to look at the timestamp, and they're going to come back. And then we'll send out a response. And the response will go back to the CPU. By the way, yeah, it's really going to come from the CPU also. What we want to do is we want to have a more accurate measure where it's just the difference between this chassis and that chassis. So what I want to measure is a subset of that. Specifically, I just want to get these portions. So I want to chop off the sides where it gets into the CPU and things like that. So what we do is this. We account for things like the delta value of going through the CPU. We extract that. You can't do that if you don't have a responder. If you do have a responder, then you can subtract T3 or T2 from T3, which just gives you one small leg of the journey, the network portion of the journey, as that frame or packet traverses the network. That's very powerful information. And so you might not always have the ability to get the responder, but you definitely get greater accuracy. Otherwise, ping whatever you want, test to whatever you want. Could be a DNS server, it could be a printer, it could be a host, it could be an IP phone, and that would just be a regular target device. You don't always have the luxury of a full responder.